cross state lines with hillbillies and guns. It's been a hell of a ride and a whole lot of fun. They gave me many names down there in Dixie, but the main one that stuck on me was whiskey.
And welcome to another episode of the Bourbon and Ballistics podcast, the show where we talk a little about whiskey, a little about firearms, and a whole lot of everything in between. I'm your host, Joel Potter, and invite you to sit back, relax, pour yourself a glass as we talk some bourbon and ballistics. On the show today, good friend of mine, Mike Mason. How are you, bud?
Good. How are you, man? It's good to see you.
I know, you too.
Yeah.
We missed you. We were just talking about missed you at the drags.
Yep.
I think the last time I saw you before that was probably over at the Genoa bar real quick.
Yeah.
As you were heading out. So
weird.
Yeah, I know.
At a bar. I know that sounds fishy, but
I know.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you on the show. I know you got a lot going on. And,
yeah, I got tons of golf in the valley here going on, so I had to take some time out of my day. Super busy. I just got done vacuuming my house and petting my dog. So
I appreciate it.
No, it's all good, dude. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we were just talking about the premise of the show. I've had this Five Trails for a while now, and I kind of had you in mind for this bottle because what I try to do is pair the bottle with the guest, and this is a Coors product.
Oh yeah,
it's Coors whiskey, so I figured what a better person. You got the cool don't you got a Coors Light tattoo?
Yeah.
So I figured
I thought it was going to be cool, but here we are 20 years later.
I think it's awesome.
Oh god, dude. Yeah, I've had quite the moments in my life. I've made some nice decisions. So I might as well keep it going now, right?
That's right. Don't let up. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
A little bit of background on the whiskey itself. Like I said, it is a Coors whiskey, and so the Five Trails basically comes into the blend. It's an American blend of a 4-year wheat, a 4-year grain, and a 6-year single malt, and then a 12-year bourbon. So it should have some pretty nice profiles. I don't see a lot of you drinking whiskey, so I don't really know how well versed you are.
Dude, I'm so Fireball.
Okay,
I know everything.
That's kind of what I figured. Yeah. Okay, and that's about all I've seen.
The only thing with whiskey is I've got to be careful because, like, one time, here's how much of a degenerate I am.
Okay,
is one time I'm like, man, I kind of feel like stuffy, like I'm catching a cold. And sometimes a bunch of beers will almost make it worse in the morning.
Sure.
So I'm like, maybe I'll sip like a whiskey on the rocks, dude. And it was so good, but I drank it like Coors Lights. Mm-hmm. I was like ripping through, like, because it waters down a little bit, and like just tastes like water with like a little hint of whiskey. Mm-hmm. I woke up the next morning, dude. I didn't even know where I was at.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. So, and it only probably took like 4 or 5 of them, compared.
So what were you drinking when that was? You remember?
I can't remember. We were at a hotel bar actually for rehearsals, I think in Kansas City.
Okay.
And it was one of the like a local one that a dude had recommended at the hotel bar. So I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. And I took my first sip, and I'm like, "Oh, it's a little stiff, So I'll sip it, but like I said, once the ice started melting in it, it was like water, and they just.
So do you normally, if you do drink, besides Fireball, we drink it on the rocks? I guess I should ask before we start.
Yeah.
Okay, we can.
I'll sip on this though. Okay. That's fine. But yeah, if I was just to be sitting at home,
sipper.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm like the most average alcoholic you'll ever meet.
Okay,
for
that's
sure.
cool. That's good. All right, and again, this is kind of me figuring out how to actually nose whiskey, taste whiskey, get all the aromas and all that stuff. I'm not very good at it.
Right.
Just on the last episode had Troy Phillips down at Battleborn Wine, who's a sommelier, and he can dissect. I mean, like the best of them. He's freaking amazing. So.
Yeah, like every time I go to a bar, they're all, "Do you want this? Do you want this one?" Will go, and I'm like, I really don't know. Just give it to me. Let me try it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So. Okay, so we'll get this poured up, and then we'll just kind of talk.
Tell me if there's any tips too. If I wine, you gotta like circle it around and smell it, and it's like I'll probably just start drinking it.
So this glass is actually called a Glencairn. Okay. It's supposed to be one of the most for the aromas.
Okay.
One of the best glasses to get those aromas, so you can nose it. Yeah. So it's
that is a good aroma actually.
Let's see.
You know more about it than me.
Yeah, it does smell good.
Yeah, pretty good.
I don't like I was kind of weary on this. So the very first episode of the Bourbon podcast that I listened to, they had actually sat down when this first came out, and they were pretty impressed. So I figured, what the heck? I found it was on clearance at Smith's. So I don't know what that.
That's perfect.
So. Well, cheers.
Yeah,
thanks
cheers.
for coming.
Absolutely. Let's give her a try. It's not bad. Oh yeah. Came out my nose. Dude, how long is this podcast? I'm going to be slurring my words.
You'll be fine.
Time.
We'll try to get you out of here in an hour.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. I was just meaning more for the alcohol content, not the actual time.
We've had some that, we've finished like half a bottle or more in the hour or whatever.
Yeah. That's what I'm
It doesn't
afraid
end
of.
well.
Yeah, I did.
Nobody wants to listen to those ones.
I was doing our buddy Jorge's podcast for a while, and it was like a winter day, so it like snowed all day Wednesday, and like woke up Thursday, and that's when we usually did it. It was just kind of like nasty out. And me and Bubs actually woke up, and I was still like hammered just off beers. And I did like 3-4 more Coors Lights during our podcast. And dude, by the end, I don't even remember what I said.
Really?
And I'm like, oh my God. He's like,
okay.
dude, you were good. I'm like, Jesus. Trying to get something out. I'm like, dude, I know what I'm trying to say, and it's not coming out.
That's right. Yeah. When I listen back to those episodes where we got super hammered, because some of the stuff we'll be drinking like higher proof, like 115. I think we had like a 130 something on the show at one point. Anyways, you drink a half a bottle of that, and then three very generous glasses of pours, and you're pretty shit.
And you don't work tomorrow, huh?
No.
Oh God, this could get away from me tonight. I'll be the starter kit for you, and we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. So you brought up your Jorge's podcast.
Yeah.
So I guess just a little bit of a backstory, and this is going to be interesting because I think a lot of the people that do tune into this will know exactly who you are. Mm-hmm. But there's a high chance that a lot of the bourbon community that tunes in may or may not watch any of the X Games or the sports.
Well, I haven't done it in like a decade.
And you've been out of practice for a little bit. So I guess if you could just give us a quick little rundown, of some of your accomplishments, some of the history, about you.
Yeah. So obviously, we grew up around here, and I grew up riding out here in Johnson Lane. Pops got me a motorcycle when I was really little, and did that for a while, and went through the racing aspect of everything, racing from Carson to start going over the hills, Sacramento down to San Diego area, and at this time, freestyle motocross wasn't a thing. It was you raced or you didn't, And racing was so hard because you're buying everything. Like, you have to have 2 to 3 bikes, probably 4 bikes if you want to be realistic, And
Jeez.
You're paying, like if you race Supercross, $400, $500 an entry plus getting there, everything. So probably like right around when we graduated, like in '99, freestyle had started to come out a little bit, and I wanted to try racing like Supercrosses and stuff just for a bit. I didn't want to throw in the towel and kind of cheat myself, at least just see what I could do. So only made like one main event. I think I made like $400 or something in the main event. Right. And this was like busting my ass to get there, and then rode some outdoor nationals, some arena crosses, and the arena crosses had like a halftime jump show. So I would race the main events, but at halftime I could go out and I was like the only racer doing tricks in the arena crosses, right? A lot of them were just doing like take a hand off the bar or something, So it was $500 a night to do that. So I hit up our good friend Cliffy, and I'm like, dude, you want to hit the road? It's like 3 months. And I knew I could probably have a good chance of making at least $1,000 a weekend to get us from A to B, right? Sure. And then if you make all 4 mains, you're looking at $2,500. So it wasn't about getting rich. It was more about just, traveling with my buddy and kind of getting to see the world. So did that for a couple years, and then actually blew out my shoulder, got that fixed. It took like 4 months. Wasn't bad. Came back, did a little freestyle and some local stuff. And then what probably wasn't more than 6 months later, I tore my ACL. So
this is both of these were riding.
Yeah, both riding. And I'd like really never been hurt before in my career. So this is the first time I kind of had to face anything where like I had to make a decision, because you take almost a year off of racing. Like now I'm relying on my mom. Like I'm still living with my parents, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Like I had no job plans. Didn't go to college, and like I said, luckily freestyle had came out. So our buddy Kenny Bell started a thing called Big Air Extreme, and we were riding like fairs in like the middle of Arizona and Sacramento, and they were paying me like $700 or something like that. And I'm like, whoa, they're paying me to do this. And I had like 3 tricks, it wasn't like I was like setting the world on fire. So kind of just started like snowballing from there. And then the Arena Cross series had a actual freestyle series. It was the same thing. It was like 3 to 4 months, all like arenas. And so I did that. And then I'm making like $2,000 of an event, and I'm like, dang, buying flights and hotel, but coming home with at least $1,000 usually. And then, it just really started snowballing quick. It seemed like I went from trying to get into these events to getting into them to, I was probably like one of the, let's say top 20 to 30 guys to like learn the flip at this time, right? So picture there's 20 of us flipping, 75 feet. So there's a 45-foot jump, what everyone started on. But that was already like, Nate Adams, all these guys are already doing that. So I'm like, if I want to do something, I got to flip our actual competition ramp, like the 75-foot jump.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I lived at Miller's for a while and, flipped a bunch into that, and then got my first invite to a Do Action Sports Tour, which is like an X Games knockoff, but it was 5 rounds instead of just the one. Finished top 3 in that series overall, and then next year got my first invite to X Games 06 down at the Home Depot Center back then, where I believe the Chargers were playing for a bit, and that was my first one, and it was luck. Like a lot of dudes crashed out for some reason. I don't know why, but qualified second. And dude, I could not sleep that night. I'm like, oh my God, I got like a chance to get a medal, Ended up with a bronze there, and the rest was kind of history. Just kind of made a decent career out of it. Rode till 2019. I finally retired. I retired with 9 X Games medals, 4 were gold in the speed and style event, which was half arena cross, half freestyle. Like somehow this event just happened to be like right up my alley, from my past. So toured with Nitro Circus, got to tour the world, and that's what I'm more thankful about. Like the medals are fun, but like you said, 90% of the people don't even know what X Games is. Like to me, it's my world, but like to some guy in Gardnerville, he ain't gonna know. So the medals are cool for me to have and like to look back on, but like getting to travel to Australia, New Zealand, all over Europe, China, like all these places, just riding my dirt bike. Like most people pay for a vacation to go to some of these places, and I was getting paid to go there. So it was a cool story, dude. I love it. I'm thankful. I had a good group of friends out here in Johnson Lane, Dustin Miller, Brian Foster, Matt Byton, all these guys, and we just like I said, it was like wildfire. We just wanted to ride every day. It kind of kept me out of trouble. Like, I was kind of a prude in high school and like never went to parties or nothing because I like had a kind of a vision and a focus. So it all worked out, and now I'm here to party.
Yeah. And you're doing it.
Oh yeah, big
now. Before we get to that, so while you're doing all the motocross stuff, the X Games thing, and all this stuff, you had mentioned earlier didn't go to college, didn't and so, but I think what I wanted to point out is that you were smart in.
That's the first time I've been called that.
Well, so instead of taking the time and blowing through all your money, you wisely invested it back into something that so you could have some sort of retirement, right?
Right, yeah.
And I think we kind of hit on that one of the last times we were hanging out, which I thought, not necessarily having the piece of paper, but a lot of stuff that they're not going to teach you, in college.
Yeah.
The financial management for oneself. So
yeah, and that was all luck of the draw. I mean, I grew up in a trailer park. My parents mortgaged the house to buy me bike. Like they were not very smart with their money at the time, right? They were kind of living paycheck to paycheck. But when I got into freestyle, like Sean Palmer, one of my good friends who I actually looked up to as far as like he did X Games for snowboarding and all that. I mean, he made millions of dollars in his life, right? And he didn't end up dead broke, but he should be just sitting on a beach somewhere sipping a cocktail, and instead he's kind of having to figure out how to move money. And I'm like, because we didn't make that much. Right. Like a lot of people think I retired, I got $15 million in the bank. That's not the case at all.
It's
right?
absurd to think that.
That's how everyone thinks though. It's like, oh, you're retired, you must be just filthy rich. I'm like, dude, my house is 1,200 square feet. My truck's older. I live within my means to be retired. But so I saw that and I'm like, man, if he made that much, dude, like I need to do something with my money, and I didn't really know what to do. I was 25 years old, and actually another freestyle guy, Ronnie Feist, he was part of the Metal Militia, probably like one of the original members of it, and his dad was super smart, which transferred down to Ronnie, and he's like, his dad was like, I buy these little condos, dude, for, he lives in like over by Atlantic City in New Jersey, so it's a lot cheaper than out here, but he's all, I'm paying like $40,000 a condo, and now that's paying for all my stuff, my living, because he was like he just had retired from like highway patrol or something like that. And he's all, it's awesome. And he's like, I just got money coming in from these things, and it covers all the repairs on it. I'm like, huh. So like right when I made my first bit of money, I bought a condo in Reno. And then just as it kept going, I just kind of started dabbling with that. And then Ronnie actually lined me up because I just had an accountant here in Carson. And he's like, yeah, you owe this, pay this by. And I'm like, okay, cool. Ronnie lines me up with his accountant, and she's like this 5-foot Asian chick down in like Santa Ana. And dude, I like had a pretty decent amount for us, a decent amount in my Wells Fargo account, right? I'm like, dude, I'm sitting pretty good. And dude, this little chick made me feel like I was like 2 feet tall. She's all, this is not enough. This will not last you. You have to do. And I'm like, oh my God. So she lined me up with this investment firm, and they started like making a portfolio for me. And that's when I really started learning like the money that I'm making can actually work for me. Because Wells Fargo, dude, it's like, I had like $350,000 in my savings account at one point, and the interest I was earning on it was like $62 a month. Could you imagine 15 years later, I'm like, all those $62 are really adding up. Now I get some Coors Lights. Right. So it was like this portfolio. I started looking, and like 1 month it's up 10%, 1 month 17. It varies, but I was like, well, that's way better. So from then it became almost like a gambling addiction in a sense. It's like any money I made, it's like, can I buy a property or can I put it into this portfolio? Who can I ask like what to do more with my money? Everything. And that's kind of like what got me to here. But like I said, I downsized. Like my first house I bought was big because I grew up in a trailer park and I wanted to have a big house. So downsized that, went to Vegas, little smaller, and then bought my house here because my parents were selling. I bought it for dirt cheap because it was kind of run down, and fixed it all up. And like I said, it's like now I'm just living way, like I get probably $3,000 a month in allowance from my portfolio, right? So like I said, it's not like I'm living off 10, 15 grand a month, but it's like when you don't have any bills, it's like
makes it better.
Yeah, and all I like is Coors Lights and golf. It's not like I'm out trying to like, travel the world. I've already done that, so it's like, it's a lot. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I knew I never wanted to work. That sounds shitty, but like as a kid, I had a couple jobs like in high school and stuff. I'm like, dude, this sucks. I'm like, I'm here every single day working, dude, and you get your paycheck and it's like $150, and then I'd go to a local race and ride 2 motos and get like $350. So I was just weighed the options. So I'm like, I just had this weird thing and now like being older, like if I got bored and wanted to go work just to have some beer money or something, that's different. But I knew like I didn't want to ride all my life and then get out of riding and have to like go work 9 to 5 to like just make ends meet. So just kind of figured out how to just put my money in the right spots. And I mean, we're 5 years out of it and I'm not broke yet, so we're hanging in there.
Doing all right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
If the prices keep escalating, they'll get a little bit tougher. But
it is, yeah. And obviously, like the last couple of years, like I mean, just filling up my truck's like $120 now, stupid Tundra. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm still well within my means. I mean, I can still travel a little bit, and luckily, traveling my whole life, it's like I have a lot of miles and stats. So like when I do fly somewhere, it's like half the time it's a free flight or whatever, or someone's paying for your flight. So it's like I'm not taking $10,000 to go do a trip or something, So, and as you know, it's like we want to go in our garages and just have beers, and I play Sunridge for free. So it's like I've kind of got it all mapped out pretty good.
Yeah, right.
So,
so when you retired in 2019, you said?
Yeah.
And then but were you getting into golf prior to that? I mean, have you always played golf or?
My dad got me club. My dad was kind of a cool dad. He like let me do everything and see what I liked. Like we tried baseball and I'm like, this is boring. I don't like it. And I'd had a bike since I was 4, so I always wanted to ride. And then he got me golf clubs when I was probably like 9 and asked me if I wanted to do junior golf down in Carson Valley. And I'm like, nah, still want to ride, But from there, it was like, 14, 15, me and Pops would go out and play 18 or something. And I mean, I was terrible, but it was kind of weird. Like in 2016, the rollerblade dude on Nitro like was getting huge into golf. And moving back up here, we started doing Sunridge's men's club and stuff. And so like we started like Saturday mornings before the show, we would go like book a tee time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And both of us were horrible, but it was just something fun to do than sitting in the hotel till 3 o'clock when practice starts. So, and then honestly, Sunridge has made it what it is for me. It's like that we have 60 dudes in our men's club and they're all fun to golf with. Cause I didn't like golfing because it used to be old stuffy dudes that were just dickheads. Now it's like we have a bunch of fun dudes. So like every Sunday we're doing men's club at Sunridge, and then through riding and stuff, I started meeting, like I met Jason Day, who's a PGA professional, and do his tournament. PGA Memes is a huge charity. It just kind of like spiraled like from my career into like what I'm doing now. And now it is fun because I'm starting to hit the ball better, and it's still a thing. I can go out, we can play music, have a couple beers. You're outside, not active, but I'm not sitting on my couch all day, you know? So it's definitely kind of replaced dirt bikes, and it's very frustrating. Like motorcycles, I was so used to like the backflip took me like it took me like 3 tries to learn it as far as the foam pit, but probably like a month or so to like actually take it to dirt. It was scary, but the trick itself wasn't hard. I was just more afraid of like under rotating and crashing on dirt. But it's like golf. It's like one day you go out and you'll play really good, hit the ball good. So I'm like, oh, I'm addicted. I want to go the next day, and I start shanking it, hit houses, losing my ball. I'm like, this freaking game, dude. Like I see how the pros are like addicted to it, because so it's been like an uphill battle, but yeah, I enjoy it. And like I said, it's something I can do with my family and my friends. And I mean, I would be working right now if I didn't have golf, because like, when it snows here, like we're a week in snow.
So you start playing golf, you start getting serious about golf. And what like you were mentioning earlier, the frustration of it, how much time do you actually have to put in to start seeing some results? I mean, when did you actually notice it's like, okay, this is actually starting to work in my favor? It
was probably like a good 3 years. Like kind of right at the end of my career, we started playing Sunridge a ton. And, I'm not a driving range dude. Like, Brian Foster, my buddy, he will sit at the range all day. Like, and he's got really good, like really quick. I'm more like, I want to go out and play and just always work on, especially at Sunridge if you're just playing a normal day, right? So I worked on it like 3 years. I kind of started seeing like I was breaking 90, shooting like mid 80s, maybe like pushing 70. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But then it's like I got to in the 70s, and then it's like I took a step back into the, it's like it always works like that. And but like I said, I'm always kind of trying stuff, and But I'm one of those dudes, like, a lot of people get frustrated and bored, you know, and I'm like, I embrace the challenge. Like, I watch the PGA Tour religiously, like on Thursday mornings or something, just when I don't have much going on. It's like I'm studying, like, just like I did with Moto when I was, 6 years old. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm kind of, how are they playing this shot? How are they doing it? And, I don't want to bore you too much, but it was a learning curve, but it happens pretty quick if you're paying attention to it and if you kind of devote the time to it, so.
Do you see people that come into it? I mean, is there as much, like when we look at motorsports, right? We look at those people and we think that's a lot of natural talent, right? And we don't really ever look too much into the amount of the blood, sweat, and tears that go into making them a professional athlete. What about, I mean, how does that apply to golf as well?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I mean, there is like our buddy Zevi. That dude picked up golf clubs. Like when I actually first moved back here, I met him in Sean's garage, And he's like, yeah, I'm just getting into golf, like just getting into it. I'm like, cool, dude. And he's like, we should go sometime, dude. The next year, he got a hole-in-one. He was already like a 6 handicap. Dude, he doesn't practice. He's just like me. We just go to have beers and stuff, but he's just that natural, like, eye-hand coordination guy.
Okay.
And also, like, a lot of golf is not caring. Like, if he tops the ball, he didn't have an ego and think everyone's laughing at him, right? He's just like, oh, whatever, like, legit does not care about how he scores or nothing. And that's a huge thing, too, is like me, I get, like if I start 3 holes, 5 over in men's club, I'm like, oh, my day's done. Because I'm like all frustrated because I'm competitive and I want to like do good. And I've already, where Zevi doesn't care, and he just got better that way. But yeah, it's like, so when COVID hit, golf got huge because everyone needed something to do kind of in a sense. Golf courses kind of were one of the first things that either didn't close or opened back up. So it got super big. And it's almost like, I don't know if you remember Guitar Hero. When Guitar Hero came out, dude, like guitar sales went up like 300%. Oh, yeah. Actual guitar sales. Because everyone's like, oh, dude, if I can learn the song on PlayStation. And then, fast forward 5 years and everyone's got those guitars in freaking pawn shops and stuff, And golf's kind of the same. It's like, everyone sees Ricky Fowler making $35 million and like, so they want their kids in it and they want to do this and that. And then it's like 3 years later, no one wants to play. Like, so it definitely takes a special person, for one, not to be bored out there. Like, I'm never bored. I have fun. But for 2, to understand that, like, you can play 3 to 4 days a week and you're still going to suck for a long time, right? So it takes that kind of rare person to, like, really stick it out. And like I said, though, it's almost like the riding was here when I was a kid, having that many dudes to go ride with every day after school. It's the same now. It's like at Sunridge, we have 8 dudes on any given Tuesday to Thursday to Sunday that we can go play with. If I was just going out there by myself, I'd probably wouldn't play that much.
That sounds kind of boring, huh?
Yeah.
With when you play at Sunridge a lot, just because it's right here, right?
Yeah.
So do you ever get bored of the course itself?
Sunridge is actually one that I do not, because it's just, I mean, you've played out there. There's so much like elevation change and all the holes it's weird. It's not like you're just straight, like Eagle Valley or something like that, like out in Carson. I would be so bored of that course because it is just back and forth, very flat. But yeah, Sunridge is fun. Like different, like we call them the forward tees. I think it would be for like players of 120, shooting 120.
Okay.
But they're called the ladies' tees. So we'd try not to say that. But,
yeah, right.
But even just playing that, it's like you can go for different shots on the course and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten bored. I mean, we're going on like what, I've been back here 9 years.
Yeah.
So 9 years of playing it and I'm still here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that I've only played that one time, and I've only played golf twice, but I played down at Gardnerville.
Yeah, Carson
Valley. Yeah. And this one's way cooler. It's like more, I don't know, like putt.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
all
saying.
The really cool stuff, like the hills and all that stuff. It was cool.
Yeah.
So I could see that being pretty fun, especially when you got a good crew.
Like our men's club out there ranges from 23 years old to 70 years old, and we're all the exact same. How cool. Everyone's in the pro shop afterwards. We have beers. Like they announce like award. Like if you make $5, dude, it's like you just want to you won the Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
Because they announce your name, everyone's clapping, you go, sweet, dude, $5, So, yeah, it's just a super fun vibe, and the course is fun. So, I haven't gotten bored of that place. But I get, like, even Genoa's and stuff, they're super nice courses. But, like, I mean, you got beautiful views of, like, Job's Peak and stuff. But, yeah, they're a little more boring to play, for sure.
How about, so you do a lot of traveling for golf, too?
Yeah.
And where's the, first let's start with the farthest place you went to go play golf.
Dude, I actually went to South Africa. So I work with this company, Short Par 4. They're like a membership company. Like you get clothes every month.
Oh.
Like, like if you pay, I don't know what it is, like $60 a month, you get like a shirt, shorts, pants, whatever the season is. They kind of mix it all up. So I started working with them probably like 10 years ago. And my guy there had took me to like Wisconsin for like a short par 4 like golf trip, which was super fun, like beautiful golf up there. And he actually left there to start a production company and started working with this new channel coming out. It was going to be like a streaming site, like based off or branched off PGA Tour. And so, yeah, I went to South Africa for 2 weeks, and it was kind of cool because it was part golf, but it was like a lifestyle, like a traveling lifestyle show.
Okay.
Yeah. So we played awesome courses, but what sucked is we'd only play like 4 or 5 holes, you know, just to get the shot. But I mean, I went on a safari, tried a bunch of food, went to a brewery actually and watched how they made all their stuff, like got the full tour. And I was telling him that was cool for me because with moto, like I flew all the way to Germany one time, got picked up, went to the hotel, slept, got to the arena the next morning, built my bike, rode a 20-minute demo for a supercross, tore down my bike, and flew home on Sunday.
Wow.
Like, didn't see nothing. I mean, we might have went to dinner somewhere, but that was it, you know? So that's how 90% of my career was. So, like, when everyone's like, dude, you're so lucky you get to travel. I'm like, dude, Australia I did because I was there for, like, 2 months, and New Zealand. But, like, a lot of, like, just weekend shows, you don't see nothing, you know? So I was telling my buddy that took me to South Africa, I'm like, this is the first time I've actually gotten to, like, look around and check stuff out. And, like, even though we're filming for the show, it's like, dude, I was, you know, from Meteor Guitar, and there's a lion sitting there. And I'm like,
no shit.
Holy, you know, and I'm like thinking the thing's going to jump up and bite us in our little Jeep or whatever. But yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, it was such a fun show. And then like how cheap it was over there. Like I bought 2 rounds of beers at the golf bar for us. And, you know, she's like 3,000 something, like their money. You know, I'm like, I asked my buddy, I'm like, what is that? He's all, it's $12, dude, for like 12 beers.
Nice.
Yeah. And then we had 3 days, we were all done. So we had 3 days off before we flew home. And we went and played like their Pebble Beach. And it's totally like, there's no private courses over there, I don't think. So this thing's totally public. Anyone can play it. And we paid $119, our money. And like Pebble's like $8 to $1,200 or something. Wow. So the money, I was like, dude, I'm moving. Like there's a house over there, like a mansion for like, you know, $250,000 our cash. I'm like, dude. But no, so that was super fun. But other than that, it's been mainly just in the States for and like I said, a lot of it's charity. So I'm not getting paid to go do these events or something, you know? So just going like the PGA Memes one raises a ton of money for kids. Jason Days is like funds like the Children's Hospital in Columbus. So it's more about that for me at this point, you know, like I'm not trying to look to get money off anyone or, you know, I mean, there's a ton of golf influencers that do, but I'm 43 years old, dude. I'm not trying to be an influencer now, you know, it's just, I want to just go do fun stuff while I'm still here, and that's where we're at.
I was looking at your Instagram because I was like, trying to think, you know, do we talk about motocross, and if we do, because I know, you know, when you went out, it was like you were just done. Like, you know, you and I don't know necessarily if it's true or not, but it seems kind of like you're like getting out while the getting's good. You know, before you're hurt, before something bad went, you know, and things went south, and so I was looking back, and you know, you occasionally will post like a memory or a highlight reel of something that you used to do. So it was interesting to see, you know, you haven't really done a lot on at least Instagram. I'd seen you've been kind of quiet on the socials.
Well, I mean, I'm not a video, like Instagram's all video now, right? If it was just posting a picture, that's pretty easy, but I'm not like a savvy like Reels dude or making a video, and I'm not going to pay someone to follow me around at Sunridge every day and do something. Like I said, I'm old, you know, like when my career was in its prime, it's like your writing spoke for you. That's how you got paid. I didn't have to be like, okay, I got to post on MySpace and hope, you know, this thing gets 300 comments. It's like, yeah. So I'm just in a different era with that, and I'm not a good salesman. You know, like some dude will be like, this whiskey is the best whiskey I've ever had. You got to buy it. Here's where it's, you know, available. And I'm like, oh, that's a good whiskey. You know, whatever. It's like I'm very just basic in that mindset. And unfortunately, a lot of our career was like on mini DV tapes, and, you know, we didn't have iPhones. It's like now kids can literally go out and ride all day and have 30 clips for Instagram. It's like I didn't have that. So like my throwbacks are mainly pictures or, you know, some shitty video that you can barely
VHS,
see. Yeah. Like you're trying to fix the tracking on Instagram.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, you know, it does suck because I'm probably leaving some stuff out there. Because like I said, there's kids that are like, one of my buddies, Steele, he's a wakeboarder. Tons of good wakeboard content, but he like started a thing with Travis Matthews, so he was like at Edgewood doing like a boat tour with like Patrick Mahomes and all these dudes for Mastercraft, and then they just took him to St. Andrews, and I'm like, damn, that lucky little thing, you know. So I mean, there's probably a chance I could do that, but he's also, I think, I don't even know if he's 30 yet, or you know, early 30s, and so it's different. Like I remember my motivation, dude. I used to like have our buddy film every single jump we did at Miller's house. Like I have all our foam pit flips, you know, our first flips to dirt, everything. And I would sit in Miller's room and like upload them to the first like ever Apple that I had, you know, and I would make videos, but there was nothing to do with them. Mm-hmm. Like I don't even think MySpace was a actual thing. So I was like all motivated, but now it's like, here we are 20 years later and I don't have that no more. And I don't know if it's lazy or I'm like legit just not creative enough. Like, because at Sunridge, I'm like, oh, dude, here's me, golf swing. I'm not like, dude, let's get this angle, let's get this bag, and then watch me swing. Then on there, I'm just not there no more.
Yeah.
I'm more about just kind of enjoying being out there. I'm like me and Foster always talk about it. We're like more of in the moment dudes.
Take the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Obviously, if I'm playing Pebble Beach, I'm gonna get some videos. Like we do Bandon Dunes every year. I'm sure you've seen. It's like a Oregon Coast golf course.
That's pretty too.
Yeah, and that's bitching because we're all walking. You have to walk. There's no golf carts. So it's like if someone's, you know, out hitting their shot, I'm walking and like filming the coast and the course. And, you know, there's more time for that. But like just for Sunridge, for me to be like, whoa, can you film this real quick? You know, it's like, dude, we've played the course a million times.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with where I'm at. I would rather, like we were just talking about investing and stuff, I'd rather make money that way than be like, dude, I'm an Instagram influencer. You know, like I hate when, like there was this golf dude and he's like, dude, I'm getting content creator anxiety. And I'm all,
the fuck is that?
Yeah, and he feels so much pressure because he does have a pretty good following, but he's like, you know, trying to think of a video and this and that all the time, and I understand that, but I'm like, I wonder if there's like roofer anxiety or sheetrock anxiety or dry concrete anxiety for these dudes that are like actually trying to put food on the table for their families and like having to work in, you know, January, you know, February when it's cold out or, you know, whatever. So I kind of had to laugh at that one a little bit. I'm like,
That's
content creator anxiety is a real
It's
thing.
tough. I mean, if you're using that as your primary source of income, and I watch a lot of videos because it is interesting. I mean, since I've started doing this podcast, or even with the Target company, I mean, it is interesting how when you start trying to dissect the algorithm and trying to make that whole thing work, you're sitting there constantly trying to find new ways to tweak it. And I do a lot of like experiments to see if like my personal account will do it better with the same video than my business account or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And all it really does is kicks you in the ass because now you got the AI coming through the billions of videos and like making sure there's not two the same, and if it does, it gets flagged, doesn't get promoted or whatever.
Yeah.
And to primarily focus on just getting this video to, if you have a sponsor, they're like demanding 1.1 million views or whatever off this clip, and you're like, how can I get it's a golf swing, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that? And you got people that are, I mean, my kids watch the dumbest shit, on the entire planet on YouTube, and I'm like, that's how you just like this guy
700 million views.
Yeah, it's like he took a I can't remember what his name is, but took like a Tesla truck and an F-150, and he was pairing them head to head with all these really stupid, comparisons, like jumping them and all this other shit. But it's like people ate it up. I mean, it was like you go there and he's a really popular account, but nonetheless, if that was your primary source of income and you start failing and those sponsors start letting you go, then what do you do, right? So I could see it being a little bit nerve-wracking. However, it sucks that you would, I mean, personally, I think it sucks you put all your eggs in that's your basket.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of weird to me.
And granted, like, I understand I'm fortunate, right, with what I did and whatnot. But I've always said, dude, it's like, why are we hyping up celebrities and athletes and now content creators? It's like, what about the people that make the world go around? They're making $13 an hour. You know, I've always thought that even when I was making good money in writing, like, I didn't learn how to do nothing. Like, I legit rode a motorcycle from 4 years old to 37 years old. I wasn't interested in like, reading a tape measure and figuring out how to like measure this and build this. And, like we were just talking about your backdrop here. I'm like, see, I don't have any of that stuff at my house, like I was never interested. So it's like when I pay someone, they come over to my house, like, I mean, dude, I get my lawn mowed just because I know like I'm kind of lazy. I don't like edging it and like doing it all the time. And so luckily my buddy owns like a landscaping company, but like they come over and they do it. I mean, dude, it's 110 degrees and they're just out there mowing, they get everything done. And I'm like, see, like those dudes are working every single day. So like I have a hard time buying into, like, I understand what you're saying 100%, but it's like, dude, life could be so much worse. Like you could legit be, working at a mechanic shop, changing tires and oil all day. It's like, be thankful for what you have, and maybe that'll free you up a little bit. Sure. To where you're like, okay, all I got to do is golf and just figure out some clips and, but like what you're saying too, that's totally understandable. Like I did that new Live golf tour. I did their Pro-Am, and they don't care. Like they just brought me out because of the PGA memes, dude, basically. But like, let's say my stories, when I post stories on Instagram, they get like 3,000 views or whatever, people looking at it. I'm like, oh, that's cool, dude. And then, so Travis, the PGA memes dude, he's like, yeah, bring, he brought like this chick out. She has like 200,000, blonde chick in a skirt, 200,000 followers.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And like a couple like trick shot dudes, and they all have like hundreds of thousands, And so Trav asked us all like the next week, I posted a bunch of stories with Pat Perez and Lee Westwood, the golfers I golfed with, and did a post, and everyone's like, hey, can you send me your insights? I'm like, sure. And I looked, dude, and there was like 300 people looked at my story. And I'm like, dude, I started sweating so bad. I'm like, how dumb do I look right now? Like I'm talking like Sunridge has gotten like 2,500 views before, and all of a sudden I get like you said, the algorithm or something didn't pick up on it, or I didn't do something right. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Well, this is the last time I get invited to anything. So it's like, it is stressful there, but more because of like my ego. Like I get embarrassed. I'm like, well, shit, dude. Because like they probably think I bought 63,000 followers or something. I was one of those guys.
That's, one of the videos I watch, one of the main points of videos that I watch is, you'll see this and it's like this inflated self-worth because you'll have one of those, and especially like for somebody like me that's, you're trying to get recognized, you're out there trying to, I'm trying to get this podcast up and running. Right. And it's like I'll have this video that all of a sudden and it's like 1,000 views, right? Yeah. But then you're like, oh my God, we're onto something, and the next one's like 50.
I know.
It's like, what the fuck happened there, right? And so but what the videos are saying is you keep chasing that high. You're like, how can I? And then you'll get that anxiety, like, how do I make this video explode? To the potential that it has, right? Yeah. You post some real bangers. Yeah. And then something happens. I don't know something broke.
And it's been like that since day one. Like. I remember when I first started Instagram, I had like 10,000 followers or something, let's say, right? And dude, I posted like a video of like a holy grab or something. I'm like, dude, that's a sick video, all slow-mo, and it actually looked cool. I'm like, bitching, dude. And it got like, I don't know, 200 likes. I'm like, that's fine, whatever. Because at this point, likes didn't matter. I didn't have to go to Rockstar Energy Drink and be like, hey, so this video's got 200 likes. It's just, I'm like, that's cool. And then I posted, like, Fox sent me a new set of boots. Like red boots. Dude, I put them right on the floor and took a picture of it, like 4,500 likes. I'm all, what in the hell is going on? Like, I don't know how to use this social media stuff at all, dude. Yeah. So then you get addicted to that. So I'm like, oh, I got a new helmet, and I post it, 100 likes. And then I post like a no-footed can, 4,000. I'm like, dude, it hurts, dude. I can't figure it out no more, So that's probably where I lost interest in it a little bit too, is like, because my buddy, Kendrick Barbecue, he does a lot of Traeger stuff.
I definitely want to talk about him for sure.
Yeah, so he broke it down, dude. Basically, anything that social media puts out, whether it's a sticker or like when IGTV first came out or the Reels first came out, they benefit you by using this stuff right away, right? Because like IGTV came out, like the original Reels, I guess it would be like, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't know how to use it, so I just posted pictures still and whatever. And he's like, dude, it's weird. They put this new stuff out to like test you all the time, like, and it benefits the algorithm, something like that. So like anytime Instagram like has like a new sticker like on the story or like a new feature, he's like, you have to be on top of it. And like, and I mean,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, same, dude. I missed all the new stuff. But I mean, he's grown up to like 600,000-700,000 followers, and like one of his videos, I mean, it's an older video, but it just crested over like 30 million views.
No shit.
Yeah. Huh. And he's the first one to tell you, I'm not knocking him because I love it. His food is so good, dude. Like, I don't know what he does, but he's like, I'm just a Traeger dude. Like, I cook steaks and burgers. I try something new here and there, but like for the most part, he's like, I know what I do. He's like, I'm not saying I'm Gordon Ramsay over here freaking making, prime dishes. It's like I just like cooking in my backyard. And it still trips him out. Like, we looked at his interactions, and dude, he had like, for this month, he had like 22 million interactions.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that's gotta be wild.
Yeah, and it trips him out because he just started doing it. He was kind of going through some stuff. I think he lost his brother a long time ago and basically bought a Traeger and just stared bought it like a tripod and just started cooking in his backyard.
Really?
Making a tri-tip.
Wow.
And that's all it was. It was like I said, he never like stood out and had some gnarly thing he did, but he was consistent too. You have to be consistent, and that's where I suck. Like, I'm terrible at like every other day. Like, his Traeger contract is basically like an allotted amount of posts and stories, like either weekly or monthly or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's like, it's not like he's just posting to post. It's like he's got contracts that tell him what to do, and so content creator anxiety, I can understand that part of it, right? But yeah, it's just a trip. Like, the way stuff works, I don't understand it all.
Yeah.
Because it's like, like I went up to like 70,000 followers super quick, and I'm like, damn, that's bitch. Because I'm still just this kid from Johnson Lane. I'm not a person that 70,000 people would ever look up to, right? I'm like, dude, sick. So I start posting more and more and like getting all into it. I'm like, dude, what if I get to 100K, Dude, and then like 2 months later, I'm down to like 67,000. I'm like, what the hell happened there? And then I'm down to 60. And I'm like, God, dude, this sucks. I'm just gonna sit at Sunridge and drink my beers.
That's
dude.
it too.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I try to. I try with this. It's like, what do I really? Of course, it'd be really neat if everybody got, because one of my favorite things about this is the people that are sitting on your side. I mean, I've had some of the coolest conversations with some of the coolest people, and that's what I really want people to hone in. Not necessarily my show, but the people that are on the show.
Right.
And so it sucks because I want as many people to see that as possible. So that's kind of where, but I'm at the end of the day, I'm like, what if, like if this did by some chance take off, like what would I do with it? Right. Because I still got a full-time job. I still got, we still got the Target company.
Yeah.
It's like
family.
What would I do?
Yeah.
And then we're sitting there thinking, well, we'll just ride the wave and see what happens if it ever does come. But I think that, social media right now is so pumped up that, there's, Bourbon accounts on Bourbon podcasts. I mean, there's a billion of them, right? And so it's like the likelihood is very slim, and that's okay with me right now because we don't really need it.
It's like what me and Jorge always talked about when we were doing our little podcast. Is it's just fun, and like even if it's just our local friends listening to it, it's cool. Like because doing podcasts, like for me, it gives me more of a chance to tell a story more than like just talking to you, right? It's always fun to like, and like you said, maybe 90% of the people that listen to this have no idea who I am or what I've done. So it's like, I enjoy like telling that story. And like you said, if it gets big, that's cool. But if not, I think it's more fun interacting and like, putting up a good show. Even if it's like me and Jorge said, even if 100 people listen to it, it's like, I feel like it's more of an authentic 100 than if, like you had 90,000 people listen to it. Like 90,000 would start paying the bills, obviously, but it's like those 100 people, like like Sean and our buddy Philip, like they listened every week when we did the Boys podcast. And, that was cool, dude. I liked when you're, and that's my good friends. I mean, I've had 9 million beers in Sean's garage, and like still he'll be like, I didn't know like that. You went through that or whatever,
right.
So that's where podcasting is more for me. But like you said, you never know. It takes one, and it could be big, and. So
let's talk about the podcasting for a little bit because and correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys had a Twitch account, or like Gamer Boys?
Yeah, Jorge did. Yeah, that was all him. Yeah.
Okay, so but
everything was all him.
Yeah, but you were not a part of. Were you a part of that?
The Gamer Boys one I just did as like a guest.
Okay.
Yeah, he had his buddy Roger did like a lot of the co-hosting on it.
Okay.
And they like kind of like legit talked about games, and I played Call of Duty like 2 months out of the year.
Is that the guy that's the CEO now?
I don't know.
Oh, there's some guy that he had on a while back he was a correction officer.
No, that can't be Roger. I don't think he's that smart.
Okay, he was pretty cool, but it sounds like he was from back in that era.
Yeah,
but okay, so tell me more about Gamer.
Yeah, so Gamer Boys, Jorge thought wanted to kind of do like breaking down games like that come out, But like I said, all I did was Call of Duty, so I'd come in, chat about duty, but it was more about like writing and everything, and so he tried that for a while, and then he was like, well. I don't really play that many games either. His kids play their whatever games they've got, but he's like, it's pretty hard to do like an episode a week. Like we're saying consistency, right? Yep. And you're talking about the same thing. So I think that's when we Roger wanted to move on as well, I think. And so we just started the Boys podcast, and it was just whatever. Like talk about UFC, moto, how hammered I got the night before. Like there was no like structure to it. So it was kind of fun. Like it wasn't like Thursday I have to do like research and be like, okay, I got to, figure out what I'm talking about here. It's like, it was more just like what you and me are doing right here. It was more like a conversation, just the boys hanging out. So it was super fun. But, I did it for a year, and it's so hard because summer gets busy for like I can't commit to it all the time. So I just kind of told them I'm going to probably take a break, but I still want to do it. But I learned a lot. Like you get a lot of experience from it, right? Because even though I can talk a lot, it's like I'm still like I was nervous driving down here. Like I hope I don't stutter or like do something stupid, because I haven't done it in a while. But
right.
So I think it's good for me because I had a little bit of like a side career with commentating and stuff, and I did a lot of PR for like Nitro.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So like this, like talking to you even helps me kind of like refigure out what I'm doing because the golf course I just talked to my dad and Bubs, and at my house I don't talk to no one. So It's like every once in a while it's good to get out and just like learn how to talk. It sounds stupid, but like not hammered drunk at a bar with someone. It's like I'd like actually talk about stuff and figure out cool topics. Like I love telling people my story. It's cool because I did come from this valley, and so it's just like that was where podcasting was for me. I never, like I told Jorge straight up, I'm like, dude, I don't ever anticipate being like a Joe Rogan podcast. It's like it's more just me getting to talk and tell my side of things. And with doing it for a year, there was so much stuff that I had forgotten I'd even done. And like Jorge'd be like, yeah, remember that time? Because he was like the kid filming us. You know, he was 19 years old with his little mini DV cam sitting out there filming us ride the foam pit. And so, you know, it just started snowballing, and there was so much cool stuff we talked about. And now even getting to like relive it with you, it's like, it's fun because I tend to forget a lot of what I've done. I mean, dude, when you're 5 years out of the sport, and I was probably 7-8 years removed from the sport. I was ready to be done like 2 years even before I quit.
Yeah.
So I kind of forget a lot of the stuff I've done. You know, like I don't ever open my safe and look at my medals or open, you know, look at this and that. It's like, dude, I just golf with my friends now and hang out. It's like I'm not trying to relive the glory days, but when you get to do something like this, it is kind of fun. You're like, damn, kind of did a lot more than I think I did. You know what I mean?
I was looking at it obviously doesn't matter, but I was looking at some interview you had done with some motocross magazine or something like that. Anyways, and it had a list of your accomplishments. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot.
I've done that before.
That page was holy shit.
Yeah.
It was long. So it was pretty neat. And, you know, that was, I mean, a lot of those were not, you know, there were golds and silvers. And it was pretty fucking neat to know a dude that was that badass.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. And like, you know me, I don't ever hang out with you being like, dude, I'm pretty sick. Like, I know these dudes all know I'm really good at, you know, it's like, I don't think that because something
You're
happened.
a very humble motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe retarded. But something happened like when I landed that last jump, because I retired mid-show. Not like Vontae Davis. Like I'd like finished the show. You know, I was like 3 jumps from the end. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. Like in my head. But I kind of knew it was coming. Like I didn't want to practice no more. So I was going into shows unprepared. Like, and I'm, you know, in the middle of a train with like 8 of my best friends. I'm like, what if I like mess up and take out my friends? I'm like, dude, it's not worth it no more. So I retired basically with 3 jumps left in the show, and something happened. Like I landed off that jump, dude, and like I was done with dirt bikes. I was done with thinking about what I did. I like didn't touch a bike ever again. I rode at the Johnson Lane pits like twice after.
Did you?
Yeah, and that was it.
Oh.
But this was right when I retired.
Oh, okay.
Like after that, I'm like, now I don't even like doing this. So,
You still have a bike?
No. I kept like some of my X Games bikes, but not like one just to, like I couldn't go out to my garage right now and go ride in the sand pits.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, something happened there, but now each year that passes, you do think about it, and it is a trip because, like I said, it happened fast, dude. It wasn't like I felt like I was out there for 2 decades riding. You know, it just like it felt like I learned racing, learned freestyle, did this, and then I never rode again. That's exactly how it felt. I was like, dang. So every once in a while, it's cool to go back, but like I said, it's when I'm hanging out with you in the garages, it's like I want to talk about guitar, or, you know,
and to that point, I have not. I mean, are you still? I mean, playing guitar? I mean, you used to post videos.
Dude, I just played today, and my fingers are hurt.
Yeah, hurty feelings.
Yeah, that was another weird thing too. Like we were in a little band for a bit, nothing huge, but it was so fun because
What was the band?
Main Event. Actually, it was the Blair brothers who were in Supercross, so we came up with the moto Main Event type deal, you know, and it was super fun. But once we like, they had families, like same thing with our podcast. We tried to do. It's like we're not going to be the next Metallica. It's like they have 3 kids each, you know, and they can't just we can't just hop in a van and go play dive bars, you know. So I played a ton for a while there, and then just kind of slowly got out of it. And I've actually just started playing again a bit because I'm like, I'll sit on my couch bored, like watching golf. I'm like, dude, what am I going to do today? And I'm like, dude, you have guitars. Like go in the back room and fire it up for a bit, you know? So I've actually started again, and it's super fun again. Other than I lost pretty much everything I've learned, like mainly speed.
It's not like a bike.
Yeah, it's not. You lose, like, I lost a lot of speed.
Dexterity goes away.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, and I'm getting older, so like my hands are all tight now. Or probably from holding onto a golf grip, but
maybe, huh?
Yeah, but no, that's still, and that's a winter hobby big time for me. Like pick up the acoustic when it's snowing. Like what else are you gonna do?
Oh man,
rip a bunch of beers,
dude. Rip beers, play guitar.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
We've still been talking about jamming a little.
Haven't done it yet.
Haven't done it. No. I think I'm embarrassed.
We're like 3 blocks down. Should be pretty easy. And actually, you're just down the street from one of our good buddies now. Like just like right around the corner from you. And so we're over there quite frequently, and I'm like, I wonder what Michael's doing, you know? And
you don't call, you don't write.
I'm just really bad at it.
Yeah, me too. So. Me too.
But we will this winter if we have a bunch of snow and it slows down a lot where you can't get out of the house. We'll rip some guitar, rip some beers.
Yeah, I think that's the best time for it. 'Cause I do have the golf problem too with when it's nice out. Like I don't want to just sit in my house.
No, of course not.
You know,
that would be stupid.
But winter, it's like, what the hell else are you gonna do? So yeah, definitely a little more guitar. Like I said, I'm kind of re-inspired again. Because I played and I never got good. Like I never paid attention to like technique. I just tried to like see if I could hear the song. Because I actually was just looking at a YouTube today, and it was the most easy. I can't remember. Damn whiskey. It was the most basic song as far as chords, right? It was like C, G, D. But the dude's okay, so it's down, down, up, down, up, down. Dude, and that messes with my brain
What the-
way more than moving this hand. So I'm like, what? I can't do it. You know, so
Yeah.
I never like learned like the good rhythm techniques or whatever, but it's fun, dude. Like guitar's cool because you can like hear a song even if you play it super sloppy. Like the first song I learned, I think, was Enter Sandman. And I wasn't playing it good, but I'm like, dude, I hear the notes. Like it's there. I just got to keep going. Yeah,
Polish
so-
it up a little bit.
Yeah, so that's what I like about guitar, like compared to the golf swing. Like I said, you can golf for 6 months and like you can still barely get the ball off the ground. You know, but like guitar, it's like I played it for like a month straight every day and like barely heard Metallica. I'm like, dude, I am so in a band now. I'm gonna be on tour in no time, you know. So yeah, but yeah, I got a good summer and winter hobby going right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So with the, and I guess we'll circle back to, so with the Boys podcast, you basically just felt like your schedule didn't allow for to get the content out in a timely fashion.
I felt bad because there was maybe May or June. There was like a rough patch where I was gone pretty much. If
you want
one more little sipper.
You just say
Yeah.
when.
Right around now, maybe even earlier, like pretty much April through June, I was gone. You know, and
that
Jorge's
makes
like,
it
"Oh, are you available Thursday?" And I'm like, "No, dude, I'm gone. I'm gone for the next 2 weeks." And then I get home and like, you know, Kenny Bell, my buddy, comes into town and he's here for 3 weeks, and it's like, it just got hard for me to be like, "Yep, I'm ready." You know, like I'm here. And I felt bad, like I didn't want to string him along.
Yeah.
Right, like he's still trying to like make it go and kind of just see where, you know, like he went to some Spotify event down in LA just to
Oh, did he really?
just to see how they run it. You know, like it's almost like a college class, but like a 1 day class or something. So he was like really investing his time, and I'm like, man, I feel bad because I can't commit my time to him.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the reason why I was single during my career is like you're gone 40 weeks out of the year. It's like I can't promise some girl I'm going to be home every day to like hang out with her. It's like got to pick kind of one or the other. So I just kind of like, I'm still going to do his podcast. It's not like we had some fight and we're like broke up.
Right.
You know, it's
right. That's good.
But I would rather do it now as a guest, like something like this, where when we're both around, it's like we can do it, and I'll have more to talk about. Honestly,
Sure.
you know, like we can catch up more. Like when it got to every week, it's especially in the winter if it's snowing. He's also, tell me about your week, and I'm like, started a fire, mopped my floor, and then had a bunch of beers. And then next Thursday, he's like, so what'd you do? And I'm like, well, I cleaned my garage, started a fire, had a bunch of beers. You know, so because I want the listener, even if it's 40 people, I want the listener to like be interested in the show. I'm sure like after, you know, 40 episodes of our podcast, they're probably like, Jesus, dude, Mike, we know you had Coors Lights last week. Okay, can we hear something else? Like tell a cool story. So
those are some of my favorite stories.
I know.
And there's always like, I don't know, like he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, really informative now, and the guests are super interesting. I mean, I can't remember the gal in the spa, but that one was really neat to listen to. But he's got some really interesting guests.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because
Right.
I keep coming back every week or every episode, and I think that like the banter between you two, because you guys are kind of like yin and yang. You
Yeah.
know, like
Oh, yeah.
he's a little more straight laced, and
Yeah.
you know, you got the yerbs and
Yeah.
and it's like that crack, and then next thing you know, it's like you're talking about, and he's like, Michael, you need to slow down.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know.
It just had me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it was so fun. And like you said, we were the perfect opposites. You know, like he's very quiet, like family man, and I'm like still the single 42-year-old that's just freaking living life by the seat of his pants. So, no, it was fun. But like I said, I just felt bad for him because I knew he's trying to make it work, you know, and I just didn't want to keep promising something. Because for a while, I'm like, yeah, I think I'll be good. And then sure shit, like all of a sudden on Thursday, I'm down in Vegas or something.
Right.
I didn't know, you know.
That's tough, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just kind of doing whatever comes up. So, but yeah, probably do a couple here soon and probably talk about the same stuff we're talking here, so it won't sound that interesting on the boys. No.
Well, the cool thing is that I think that the audience is much. I mean, my audience obviously much smaller, but a different realm too.
Right,
You know?
right,
So
yeah.
we got some of the local guys help keep me afloat. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that show has been around a lot longer, and I think that having the UFC stuff probably sits a lot better with a lot of people. And,
Yeah.
You know, so you
See,
guys-
and I don't watch UFC at all, so every time he'd start talking about that, I'll sit this one out.
yeah.
That's why I would just pick the dude like with the random name. I'm like, yep, that's my guy. I'm picking him to
my
win.
dog.
He's all, oh, man, well, he hasn't won in like 2 years. I'm like, yep, that's why I'm picking him.
The underdog.
But yeah, but that was what was cool is like we did have our, you know, I could talk golf and dude, actually I didn't even talk moto very well. He's like, yeah, so Supercross this week and who you got? I'm like, dude, I haven't watched a Supercross in like 8 months, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, when I've watched them, I don't remember watching them.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'm telling, like I said, when I retired, something happened, and I just
care
like,
that much.
yeah,
It's not your thing.
Yeah, we went to Hangtown for the outdoor national
Right.
earlier, and like the first couple laps, like you hear the bikes and smell the gas and stuff. I'm like, oh man, like kind of got excited for a minute, and then those motos are 35 minutes long. So like after 15 minutes, the leader's 20 seconds ahead, seconds 20 ahead of third. I'm like, should we go back to the camper and have some beers? You know, it's like, God, it's, I don't know. But I was so diehard from 4 years old on that everyone's like, how do you get bored of dirt bikes but love golf? And I'm like, dude, I lived, ate, and breathed motocross for, what's that, 33 years?
It's a long time.
Like gnarly, you know, like I was fully invested. And so it's, I think I just burned myself out, honestly, you know, and it's different now because I look at, like, I'm that man, that old man. I look at them as like kids now. You know, like they're 18 years old now, they're ripping. I'm like, oh,
Scallywags.
I'm like, back in my day, you know, with my beer on my beer belly, I'm like, I'm that old man now. So, but it's weird because like growing up, I was like, Jeremy McGrath was so sick.
Now, speaking of him, is it true or is it not that you actually taught him the knack?
No.
Okay.
Not true at all.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Was that a Gardnerville rumor?
I didn't hear that at all, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no.
I thought you might have.
No, he's the one that made us want to learn it. You know, like he did it at Supercross. And we're like, well, what the hell's that? I actually learned it at the Johnson Lane pits. Foot slipped off, almost ate shit so bad. It was close.
That was I think with BMX, that was the same thing. When I saw it when I was watching motocross, I was like, oh, that's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I started learning how to do a knack, and then Can came out. I'm like, oh god, here we go.
I know.
And then I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
After that.
I said that with the backflip. I'm like, you know, like not on BMX, but on moto. I'm like, backflipping, dude? No way, never. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, well, I don't have any money, and I don't want to keep living with my parents, so I better learn something. Here.
Yeah. In the foam pit? So if you under rotate on a backflip, and the bike's still going to come crush you, right? It still hurts.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like
it's not.
It seems like it'd be soft, but it probably isn't.
No. And we were poor kids, like me, Miller, Bubs, Bite, and maybe Jones and Berlou. I think we all went in on it. But we bought like $10,000 scrap foam. We went to like San Jose or something and like ordered it, and it's like spaghetti foam. Like Travis had like the good blocks, you know, but it still hurts. But when so the rule of thumb is you never let go of the bike, because if you let go of the bike, you land on top of the foam pit and the bike lands right on you. If you hold on to it, like the foam will kind of pull you off your bike and you'll go through it.
Okay.
But I mean, I've had days in July where I did that, like landed upside down and like my gas tube came off and like gas was pouring on me. And those things are highly flammable.
Sure.
I'm like, here we go. This is how I'm going to die, you know? So I've had that. And then one time I under rotated and had to actually, there was no choice. I was like not even close. So I jumped off and the bike smashed me. And
How much do they weigh? Like those bikes? The trick.
I think like two strokes were like about 200 pounds, and then 450s were like 220, 230.
Don't want that.
No,
Especially from that height.
Exactly, and the momentum, like the momentum coming in, you know, like when it just slams you, and then like right before X Games 09, I got all motivated, and I want like double grab backflips that just came out where you grab onto the back of the seat, you know, and do like a handstand basically. So I'm like, let me see if I can learn that. And it was the scare. I never learned it, but I could like at least flip and like get both my hands on the seat. And so one time I'm like, dude, screw. This is like 3 days before X Games, so I had no business even doing it at X because I was very methodical. If I learned something, I needed like a month of doing it before I just went to a contest and did it, you know, just to make sure I didn't eat shit and hurt myself and be out the rest of the year. So I'm like 3 days out from leaving to X Games and I do a double grab backflip. I mean, my feet are barely off the bike. Dude, when I got back, I like wasn't to my bars or my pegs yet. My bike just came to a dead stop in the pit, dude. And my ass slammed the seat, and we cut our seats in freestyle, so like that much seat. Dude, I couldn't breathe for like 3 minutes. It knocked the wind out of me, just like my seat coming back into my butt. And I'm like, dude, this shit. I think that might have been the last jump I ever did into a foam pit, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
So, and there's also so you get past like look at like what Adam's deal with the inflatable landings.
Yeah.
Same thing, right? Those probably, I mean, they look like they're super cushiony, but they're probably not.
They're better.
They're better than a foam, you think?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I never rode one, honestly, so I can't give you a fair assessment there, but I think they are better. But still, if the bike lands on you in that thing, it's still landing on you. Yeah, you know, but I think you can get away with a little more. But like even them going to airbag landings now, you know, like the mobile landings like we used to ride were scaffolding or wood or whatever, you know, and now they're airbag landings. And more of my buddies have crashed on those, not doing nothing wrong, than I think they ever crashed on mobile setups.
Really?
Yeah, just because like I think like Twitch not too long ago, he did like some trick, just normal trick, and came back when he landed the airbag wrapped around his shifter and popped his bike into neutral. So like you have all this forward momentum going, and then your bike kind of like jams a little bit, and it just spit him off, and he went sliding across the cement. And
oh, geez.
One of my buddies, actually, the promoter started letting the air out because it was like a super tight show. So like they had to like do their 3 jumps or whatever, and then get that thing off in like 5 minutes. And the dude pulled the plug on it, and he comes around to do his flip, and the air's coming out of it, and he lands. You can go straight to the ground.
No shit.
Yeah, with like, I mean, a little bit of padding, but I'm like, dude. See, even if airbags were still, I still wouldn't want to ride. Like no matter what, dude. There's just nothing there that. Dirt bikes are just dangerous, dude. No matter what, and they're heavy, they're fast, and golf is so much easier, dude.
Dude, and it's a little bit safer.
A little bit. I got hit with a golf ball. I don't feel good, dude. Trust me. But overall, safer. Yes.
Yeah, your odds. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and one of the things, with the way things are trending, it's like we're expecting athletes to essentially kill themselves for. It's kind of like the Coliseum days, really. And I've seen it compared to that because. You have this audience that wants more. They want more. They want more. And the promoter's like, we need more. And like, well, fuck you. Like a triple backflip's not big enough. No, I want fucking 6.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go bigger, harder, faster. And then we're, looking at like Red Bull Rampage, for example. Right?
Yeah.
And I was just watching it. I was watching this shit this morning, and I don't know what event it was, but I'm like, dude, no fucking way.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
And for me personally, obviously, yes, no, I'm not going to do it. But, but, thinking about like my kid doing it, Paul Bassigo.
Yeah, Bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good luck saying that last one.
I know.
It's hard.
Bassigonio. Sorry, buddy. I know he doesn't listen, so it doesn't matter.
Love him.
Doesn't matter. He's cool. But yeah, I mean, him getting super fucked up at Rampage and but
Rampage is death, dude.
It is some of the gaps, some of the shit I was watching on this video was like, holy flying fuck, what is happening here? But next year, it's going to have to be harder. It's going to have to be bigger. And it's
going to have to flip a bigger downhill or something, whatever it is.
What point? I mean, these poor guys. And so, and this is another point too, because we're looking at you guys like we don't know. People are no longer carrying like the cost at which it comes for our entertainment, right? Yeah. And this is with almost any sport, right? Football the same way. It's like we're getting pissed off because players are getting protection. The quarterbacks get more protection. It's like, well, look at the quarterbacks from the 70s.
I'm
80s.
One of those guys too. I'm like, oh my god, he barely got hit.
Oh my god. And we love to see football, and we love to see like the hardcore gridiron. Those snow games of the early or late 80s, early 90s. And it's like it's just gotten really soft. But at the same time, it's like look at those dudes that were playing that show. Oh, they're playing, and they're just a fucking
ruined, dude. Right? Yeah.
So
and it's. It's always funny to me that the number one question, autograph lines, people you meet, anyone, right? Dude, how many bones have you broken? Like, what's your worst crash? That's all they want to hear. Every time. And I'm like, gee, don't worry about, like, how did I do at my last event? Or, like, what's my favorite trick? It's like and I'm the most boring dude to ask that ever. Like, I had 2 ACLs, a shoulder, and, like, a couple concussions. My whole career, right? Like I said that when I was just explaining my career, that one year I got hurt, I, like, didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah. I'm like, dude, an ACL and a shoulder, am I going to make it? Like
put me down.
Yeah, it's like that's all I had. And so when people ask and I tell them, they're all, cool.
Yeah.
They want to hear Travis Pastrana, who dislocated his spine off his pelvis and was one of 3 people to not be paralyzed from that. Or, they want to hear all these and I'm like, what does that benefit you? Like if I tell you right now, if you ask me, I'm like, yeah, one time I compounded both my wrists and my collarbone and knocked myself out for 30 minutes. My femur was broke. You'd be like, damn.
Sick.
Yeah. It's not going to make you shitty. It's not going to make you feel cool. Like you're holy dude, that's, so it's like so weird to me that like we're in that era and like you said, people wanting more. I mean, the last handful of demos I rode, like we would do, backflip trains. Like I said, 8 of us all backflipping. And then you go to sign autographs. And how come you weren't doing double backflips in that train? How come no one was front flipping in that train? I'm like, Jesus, my bike's right there. I sign a waiver, grab my helmet and go do it for me. Like it's like it. And I think that's where I really started getting burnt out is a straight flip in 08, 09. Let's go 06, 07, even earlier. Straight flip, dude, the crowd was like standing ovation, like especially in Europe or something, And then all of a sudden in like 16, 17, 18, you got Adam Jones doing like a double grab backflip, the thing I was just talking about or something. They're like, yeah, like, where's Travis? How come no one's doing it? And I'm like, how come we're asking questions? Like, just be excited for like, we're trying to put on a show for you. You know what I mean? And it starts to, like, you try not to let it wear on you because you're like, I'm just here to do a job. Like, I'm sure at your job, someone's like, how come you're not doing this? And you get pissed off or whatever. It's like, we're here to do a job, dude. If they don't like it, what do we do? But it wears on you. It's like,
sure.
we got into I saw the whole change. I mean, I'm talking with social media, especially what we talked about earlier, is you see this change, dude, where it goes from people just being stoked to see, like, I mean, I flipped ramp to ramp on cement at the Carson Harley for Street Vibes. And dude, I had like old ladies coming up to me and biker, like gnarly dudes, tattoos, face tattoos and all. That is the gnarliest thing I've ever seen, bro. And I'm just talking a backflip, right? And then, Instagram comes out and you see this and that and whatever. And, 10 years later, someone does a gnarly backflip trick and they're like, oh, show's all right. I think I've seen that before. And it's like, Jesus, dude.
That's one of the things I always think about with Adam because, and I've only seen him FMX Rampage at the Douglas County Rodeo. And then up at Harley for Street Vibes. And it's like my fucking heart stops every single time. And I think that a lot of people are hopefully in that same boat where it's like, holy shit, when you see it up close and personal. Yeah. Especially like up there at what's now 395, doesn't matter.
Carson Motorsports. Yeah.
You're like right freaking there. And you're like, oh my God, they're so, when you're like, and I think maybe like there's a perception that's a little bit different when you're at a big stadium, right? Like you see everybody going up and doing this big stuff, maybe like the fireworks, hopefully, or whatever. But when you're like almost underneath the bike, you're like, that's like 20 feet in the air.
And you hear the power of the bike and everything.
And that
like
landing, that concussion, of
like,
when they land and stuff, it's like, this is big dog shit, so.
And you're probably right. Like we tend to focus on the negatives, right? Like there's probably, let's say at the Douglas Rodeo, there's probably 800 people that loved what Jones, because Jones, dude, he lays it on the line every time.
Fucking A.
Like I don't know how to say it. I was kind of a pussy, right? Like if I'm just riding in Douglas, I'm like, well, I can't get her here because I got X Games. I would still do my tricks, but I'm like, I'm not doing the full bore because I'm like, I'm kind of scared, here and there. Could be windy, whatever. Jones does every single trick every time, no matter what. It could be 3 people, it could be 800, right? So we tend to focus on the negatives. Like if there's 800 people at the Douglas Rodeo, I guarantee you 795 of them loved what he did, but you hear the 5 people. They were like, dude, how come you didn't double backflip? That's all you hear.
Lame.
Yeah, and same with Instagram. It's like if I posted a picture and like, 100 people were like, that's the coolest trick I've ever seen. But there's that one dude that's like, man, you're no Travis Pastrana or Brian Deegan. I'm like, where did you come from? Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't know if it's just the generation we're in or what now, but it's like, it's hard not to, because you want everyone to be stoked on what you're doing. So if it's one person out, if it's 99% good, 1% bad, it's like that bugs you. It like legit bugs you. And I don't care what any athlete says. Like Jones could even say like, oh, I'm getting paid. I don't care. But it's like if some dude in the autograph line comes up to me, he's all, dude, I didn't, you weren't really doing the biggest tricks. He'd be like, well, shit, dude, I'm trying my best. Like we can all say we don't care, but at the end of the day, you care. And it sucks because, like you said, we put in countless hours of doing this stuff, and then you go to like show people and then they're like, I stopped signing autographs like the last 2 years of my career because I was on Nitro. And it's like I was very behind the ball in tricks. But it's like, I'd go through the autograph line. I'd be the last one there usually with everyone. Signing, some dude's all, oh, dude, where's our Willie? Where's Travis? Like as I'm signing their shirt, I'm like, well, screw you, little kid. I'm not signing your shit no more. It's like, I don't care if you don't like me. Like when I was at Hangtown in 93 as a kid, it's like any dude that had a box fan, just sign my shirt. And good luck, dude. Have fun. I wasn't like, how come you're a 3-digit number? Where's all the 2-digit numbers? So I think now we're just at that point where like kids are, and like I said, social media is probably a little the culprit of it, but it's like they see our Willie, who was this like scooter guy that turned into BMX guy. He's a gnarly kid. He does the weirdest shit on a BMX bike you'll ever see, but it's like they're like looking over your shoulder. Dude, is our Willie coming? I'm like, I just throw my marker. I'm like, screw this.
Yeah. It sucks because I think the internet, social media, all that stuff has definitely presented this level of I don't know, like for the athletes, like we're expecting everybody to go out there and fall on the sword. For our own entertainment, and so it sucks because you're wanting to see, like, talking back to football, right? And it's like every fucking, and even baseball this year, it's like I just started getting back into baseball probably 2 years ago, and then they keep changing the fucking rules, and I'm like, they're making it lamer and lamer, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is already a really hard, retention sport, right?
Oh yeah.
And now you're gonna make it, they're trying to do like the pitch clock and all this shit. anyways, so like every year with football, it just gets fucking lamer and lamer. And it's like, may as well just be flag at some point, right? You're going to eventually get to that point where it's like, we do not
flag
tackle
football,
at all.
yeah.
Right. But with the extreme sports and stuff like that, like I said, Red Bull's a very big driver of just pressing that envelope and expecting, the athletes to go out there and perform these fucking miracles, right? And it's crazy to me to think that, I hope that the money's worth it, and and that these guys all get out unscathed, and it's scary, but I don't know. It's a dangerous trend. Point of my story.
It is 100%, and like I said, luckily I was very calculated. Like that's probably why I never learned a whole lot of gnarly stuff, because I was like, so towards the end of my career, I did a lot of PR. I did 4 a.m. radio. Like I flew to Buffalo like 2 months before Nitro and did like radio at 4 a.m. and then went to Rhode Island and did radio at 4 a.m. Just to keep my spot on the tour. Because I'm like, dude, I'm not learning a double backflip or not even the stuff Jones is doing. Like I don't want to learn that. Like I don't know why. I was never very good at flipping. And hear me out. Like I could flip, but it's like I tried, like lazy boy flips, cliffhanger, all these weird flip tricks. And Jones was very good at like flipping, figuring out upside down where he's at. Basically, all the tricks we did right side up, Jones can do upside down. Mm-hmm. And everyone thought I was lazy, and I'm like, no, dude, I don't understand it. It's almost like guitar with the rhythm, right? Like I can flip straight down strum, but if I'm trying to go down, down, up, I'm like, where
what does this do? Yeah,
it's like these two parts of my brain don't like coincide together, So I knew that from a probably the middle of my career. I'm like, okay, I learned these tricks. It's good enough to fill in a show. Like I can ride all the trains at Nitro. Like they hired some kids that would do a front flip, but they couldn't do a backflip. So we would lose like a rider, and we had a girl on tour. She couldn't backflip. So like our backflip trains in Nitro would be like 3 riders because they're hiring these other people, So I kind of found, it was a trip, but I kind of found like my role of it all, like no BMX kid, 19-year-old BMX kid wants to get up in Rhode Island at 4 a.m. and talk for 5 minutes on a radio station and then go back to the hotel, So I kind of did all that stuff, but I never had that like push in me to like just be the gnarly. I never wanted to be the gnarliest dude. I'm like, how can I make money on my dirt bike? That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
I didn't care to be
pay the bills.
Yeah, pay the bills. I didn't care to have 900,000 followers or this and that. I was like, how can I ride my bike as long as I can? And without like I said, my injuries were limited, dude. Like I told you my whole injury list in 5 seconds, So, and I'm fortunate. I can golf and do all kinds of stuff. Like everyone's like, dude, how's your body holding up? I'm like, fine. I mean, my belly and my boobs are pulling on my back a little bit. Man tits, but other than that, like I'm not bad at all, So
good.
Yeah, so it is a trip for me watching these people kind of get like ridiculed for what they're doing, and not appreciated. Like I said, if I went to the Douglas Rodeo and watched Jones, I'd be with you. I'd be sweating and like, because I know what it's like to hit that ramp and do that.
Sure, I can. Yeah, right.
And I mean, even this little breeze that's outside right now is scary when you're riding. If it's a crosswind, it's scary when you're riding. And Jones like does all this stuff super gnarly. I mean, he's pushing 40, dude. But he's in very good shape. He practices a bunch. Takes it very serious. So when people like probably say something to him or something, it's like, dude, who are you? Like, you're the person that doesn't do anything, and you're going to call this dude out for doing this. That's what bugs me. Same with like we do it with football. We said so we're kind of guilty too, but I mean, at least they're getting paid like $100 million to do it.
Make some good money.
Yeah, we're getting paid like $2,500 to
right?
Do it, big difference.
And with Adam, I mean, when you look at some of the stuff he's doing, it's to the average person, it seems so elementary, so rudimentary, and then you realize like the mechanics of what's actually happening, like that slow-mo like you were talking about earlier. When you start slowing that thing down, the amount of stuff that has to happen in this couple like flash, I mean it's probably under like most of it's under a second. This really fast, but it's like all that hand-eye coordination that's got to happen like this. And it was amazing to watch. And even being up in the stands, I mean it scared me, so it pisses me off that people do not appreciate the lack of or the possibility of injury
of somehow. And if he did crash, they'd be like, "Oh my god!" That they would cheer more for the crash than they would him what he does. And so it's gnarly. It's another sport, but we all know what we're getting into. Like I said, you can't listen to those people. There's 5 people out there that are worried about what that happens. Sure. There's a lot of moms and dads out there with their little kids, and the kid doesn't know a difference. He's like, holy, that's so. Even if Jones just jumps the ramp, they're like, dude, that is so cool. It's like, so it's. We just got to stop focusing on the negative. That's what's so hard about it.
And one of the things that when you were talking about that earlier is, with the Target business, we had the first ever like real negative feedback. This guy was out and he was shooting in sand, and he wasn't able to stake down his target, and he's like, it keeps falling over, and I'm like, we've never had one fall over ever, right? And he's like, this thing's a piece of shit, I want a refund. And I was like, dude, there has to be something wrong, like user error, because we have hundreds of these things out there and nobody's ever came back to us and said what you're saying right now. You have to be doing something wrong. But that spoke so deeply to me.
Right.
Like that one negative comment,
you want to please everyone,
fucking ruined my day.
Yeah.
Right. I was like, how can I make this better? What can we do to make this thing right? And so I'm out there just trying to chase this guy around, and I'm like, he's maybe one of those guys that I could do everything for him. Yeah. Like best case scenario is he wants to go use this thing for a day and get his money back. Yeah. And never have that.
And there's a lot of that out there too.
You know, and I can imagine that with with you guys in your sport.
That's with anything. Like we started this little gecko company. Well, not we. Our buddy Vince did, who I was in the band with actually. And it's like an on the course grip spray. Comes in like a little 8-ounce bottle. Spray your grips, wipe them down. They're not all slick when you're golfing. Like if your hands are sweaty or something.
And tax them up.
Tax them up. Yeah, okay. It gets all like the dirt and grease up, and it's good for your skin and everything. It's not like some harsh chemical component, you know. Dude, and we get comments. It might be the same dude, but we get comments all, dude, so like what's the difference between that and dish soap? And like, because in the garage you can sit there with a wire brush, dish soap your grips, clean them up. But I'm like, dude, we're talking about on the course stuff. Like, are we going to bring a bucket of dish soap like in our cart and be like, hold on guys, I'm on hole one, and just it's
using
like
the ball washer to
yeah. And this one dude was just such a dick about it. And it's like, it's just like that with anything. Dude, you could make the best pizza in the world, and freaking Dave Portnoy's going to tell you it's the worst. It's like you don't know ever, and you got to take, if it was something like you said, if it was something that failed on the target or whatever, okay, let's go to the drawing board, because that makes your business better.
Yeah, of course.
But if it's something where you're like, dude, we haven't had this yet, it's like, how do you fix that? It's like you're not going to make everyone happy. No. So
we offered solutions to the guy, and it was like nothing was sufficient enough, right? It was like if Sandy soil, he's out in Fernley.
Oh, there you go.
But anyway, sandy bastard, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like, okay, maybe this is a problem if we're going to sell to these sandy places.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have some sort of sand adapter, right? But I'm like, we've never had this problem before. But and the point of the story is that you are never going to win
ever,
especially now with the abundance of access to your product, right? I mean, if you get something that's really cool, somebody's gonna always have something bad to say about it. You can't go please everybody.
Dude, and just no matter what, this day and age, people are so miserable in their own lives. Not everyone, okay, just people that like they just want to bitch about everything. Like, because every time I buy something on Amazon, dude, it could be like a bar of soap, and they're like, oh yeah, this is good, oh it's perfect, and then this one goes, oh, dude, it made me itchy. I'm like, okay. Next chick's like, it didn't last long enough. I'm like, it's a bar of soap. Like, what are you guys expecting? Go buy Irish Spring and tell me how long it lasts, or if it doesn't make, it's like, there's always just going to be, if you look on Amazon, there's always like 3 reviews. Someone's got to say something. And I'd like to actually get their name and see everything they bought and all the negative reviews.
And that's one of the cool things with some of the shop websites is because you can actually go see, because there are people that are just out there just hell bent on ruining everybody's lives. Yeah. And, I think that one of the things I like to do is if something works in my favor, if there's something positive to say about something, I want people to know that even if it's the smallest minute detail, right? Show that to somebody, because it may make a difference. Yeah. And instead of focusing on all the bullshit that comes with it, I love to say that I'd be a hard ass and like, this product failed me, but I'm like, it's all subjective. Really, most of the time it is just subjective, and so you got to be cool. Yeah.
What a time to be alive, huh?
Dude. So, I mean, you find the funniest posts, wholeheartedly, like just in supposed to be funny. Some asshole, especially when it comes to anything like serious, like building a house or something like that. Some asshole's like, oh, well, my building code says that you can't nail a joist, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, somebody's always out there to fucking shit on your parade. Right. So take it with a grain of salt, move on. And just enjoy the good things, I
mean, dude, I posted a Traeger to steak one time, and I am not a cook. I mean, I cook for myself, and I'll eat whatever.
Good, it looks like.
Yeah, so I Traeger a steak, dude, and I always pull them at medium. It's like pink, juicy, whatever. Dude, and I cut it, post a picture of it, and this dude's all, dude, who eats a steak that well done? I'm like, all right, dude, I'll just heat it up real quick for you, and you can have your freaking bloody plate. It's like, no matter what you do, dude, no matter what you do. So, moral of the story, we're getting off topic here, but moral of the story is just, no matter what you do, someone's going to bitch about it. Yep. Doesn't matter if you're putting your life on the line, your business on the line, this whiskey, like probably someone's going to be like, That's not like a drink, dude. Like, what are you drinking that for?
Right.
You know, so.
Probably good help. Now, last thing, we were talking about a little bit earlier, and I know that historically I used to see a bunch of pictures. You guys have a big, like, family shoot for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Right? You go out the shotguns, do a bunch of that stuff. I don't know if are you guys still doing that? We like to talk about guns on this show at the back end.
I mean, you know, we did it. I mean, this goes back to, I think I got my first 20 gauge shotgun when I was like 11 for Christmas. And we always went to my mom's parents' house out by like Fresno, right? And he had like 5 acres. I mean, we would shoot right out of his driveway. Like there'd be a car way out there, but you'd throw the clay pigeon, shoot it, you know? So it kind of started there when I was 11. Just started shooting a bunch, and we did it like I think it was every Christmas Eve or something like that. And then we started doing it up here, dude. Next thing we knew, at the Johnson Lane pits, we had like 40 people. And there's like, you know, pistols going off and ARs and shot. Because I just have my like clay pigeon thrower with my dad. I'm all, what do we do? And then like you got like the wives like, you know, where's the trigger? And they're moving the gun. Whoa, 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 you know. Yeah. So we kind of got away from it, but it's like me and Pops always talk about. We got to get back into it but it was just shotguns and clay pigeons. It wasn't like bring out your whole arsenal, lay the tailgate down, and let's have a war. You know, it was because I mean, you can set up like a refrigerator or something and shoot it with a pistol. It's fun. But like I love throwing the clay pigeon, shooting the clay pigeon, you know. And so we were all shotguns. My dad owned, I mean, dude, he had over-unders, all kinds of stuff because he was a big hunter, you know. So we would have like 6 shotguns lined up and do that. And so yeah, it's getting back to that point, I think. But we just got to like close the circle up a little bit, and you know, because it is hard. It's like you want everyone to come out, and everyone has a different variety of guns. Like my cousin Nick, I don't know if you've met him yet.
Yeah,
dude. His dad thought the world was ending in like '97. And cut out a hole in his house and had like this full walk-in safe. I mean, dude, I'm talking like the size of this room probably. And he would go to gun shows back when it was like way easier. And cousin Nick said when he passed away, he has like 4 of every gun. Like if he had a 9mm, he had 4 of the exact same ones because it was on sale at this gun show. Ammo all over the walls and everything. So like cousin Nick's always a fun one to have because he has these weird like random guns and stuff, you know. So we want to get back into it for sure, but like probably limit the crew to like
rein it in a little bit.
Yeah. So because it did get scary a couple of times, like
you know, this is not for every group, but I mean, I feel like even Bree, a lot of times she, you know, I feel like I've scared her out of shooting because I'm like, you are haphazard.
Yeah,
you have no fucking protocol.
Yeah,
the best I can do is like tell you 100 fucking times that you can't do what you're doing.
Right.
Like, it's not going to work out well for anybody.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
What you're doing. But she's still, now at a point, she's like, I don't want to touch a gun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I have to be home 24/7 to protect our family. And that's just the way it goes.
Right.
So I quit my job. Now I live here permanently. Gun in my hand, make sure my family's safe.
Yeah.
Because Bree just can't.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I know. My mom can't either.
Yeah.
She holds the shotgun down here. I'm like, oh, Jesus, what are you aiming that thing?
Some of the videos of you guys just saying, I'm like, yep, flag. Everyone's just, you know, it's like, and like I said, it's just mainly probably getting a little out of control.
Yeah. And like you said, like you can tell them 150 times how to shoot the gun. Like I'm like, Mom, right here on your shoulder. Okay. Point down the barrel. And she's okay. And she's all, pull. And it moves. So boom. She like hip fires like a 12 gauge. I'm like, give me the gun. Let's put it away. You know?
You're done.
Yeah. So, no, but it's a super fun thing. And I've actually, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you serial numbers in every gun I have, but I've kind of gotten into collecting guns and stuff. So I'd like to get out and shoot a little more. Obviously, summer it's dry, and I'm not trying to be the guy starting the wildfire. So, but yeah, we'll get out and shoot a little bit.
Good.
It's been fun. All my mags are loaded just in case something happens, you know. Johnson Lane, we had 2 break-ins last year. Before I left on a trip.
Dude, how about your plants getting stolen? Talk about
my plants got stolen.
Fucking plants.
And my, not neighbor, but like 3 houses down neighbor, cat got shot. Fuck. All in the same like 2 days. I'm like, dude, this is Johnson Lane.
Johnson Lane's getting nuts.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of money to finally landscape my front yard. Dude, no one has touched my yard ever. Dude, get it all done. I'm like, sweet. And like 3 weeks later, like Bubs is like, dude, did you not plant 2 of the plants? Or not me, but the landscapers. I'm like, what do you mean? I go up to the top of the driveway, 2 holes in the ground. I'm like, wow.
Interesting.
And they're not even like, they're bushes. It wasn't like some exotic plant, you know? So I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, that is the weirdest thing that's probably ever happened to me in my whole life. Like, the drip line's still there, the hole's there, the gravel's around it, but no plants.
2 bushes.
2 bushes.
Gone.
Just pull them out.
Huh.
I'm like, dude, that is so weird.
What a weird way to, like, that's like a mental mindfuck right there.
I'm like, who was in my yard and when? You know, like, that's what I hate more. Like, the plants were nothing. It's like $40.
It's like having some random dude in your yard.
Yeah.
Doing some weird shit to your property gets awkward.
Luckily, they were the top, like, up by the, like, road. He wasn't, like, all the way into my, like, if they were right by, like, the bedrooms or something, that'd have been creepy. So,
yeah.
But yeah, lived here my whole life. Can't say I've ever had something like that happen.
No, man. It's unfortunate times that we're living in.
Yeah. And then, so we did that Bandon Dunes trip I was talking about, because Bubs is always home. So I always leave. So I'm like, cool, dude, someone's at my house.
That's what I felt.
And, you know, I feel good. So Bandon Dunes, we all leave. Like, we go for a week. And the night we were getting ready to leave, like, we're all having beers on the couch. And our buddy Cody Lamb, he's like my across the street neighbor now, ex-Marine guy, knows everything. And there was 2 break-ins on Chiquita at like 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. Dude smashed the window. And like, one of the old boys had a gun and scared him away. But dude, the day before we leave, I'm all, sweet, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to be gone for a week. I'm going to come home. Everything's going to be gone. So, scary times, dude.
Yep.
So, pistol grip, shotgun, 9mm,
Keep
right
them
next to my
locked,
bed.
keep them loaded.
Yep.
Yep.
Unless the kids are around, then I hide them.
Be cool.
Or my mom.
Yeah. Hell.
Yeah.
She got to retire this year.
She did retire, yeah, and it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
What's she doing with her? What's she doing with her time now?
Well, we spent the first 7 days hammered.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Well, not a good way. But, because, you know, she always had the excuse. She's like, well, it's a school night. I can't. Dude, Wednesday night, she's like, what are we doing? I'm all, El Charo? Yeah, I guess. So, no, we got that out of her system, and they're just getting, like, it's kind of weird because her and my dad, I'm like, oh, they're getting divorced when she freaking retires. You know, just because they butt heads so hard on stuff. Dude, like, my dad's been working around the house a bunch or, like, doing a bunch of, like, he's been cleaning stuff up, going to the dump. I'm like, Stevie, I don't know if he's doing it to, like, get away from her or, like, impress her, but they've been working around the house a bunch, and she's enjoying it. Like, she was one of those people that was like, I don't have a purpose in life if I retire. I'm like, but your purpose in life sitting at a desk at WNC working every day for, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But now she's fine, dude. And it's cool because, like, there will be a Wednesday where, like, we have to go run an errand. And we end up, like, Chili's happy hour or something. You know, have a couple beers.
It's the best.
So it's fun. You know, like, as you know, I'm all about hanging with my parents. Like, I'm an only child, so I'm kind of needy on them, you know. So it's been more fun, like, golf with Pops, go out to GB with Mom, whatever. And so she's enjoying it. But every once in a while, she's like, kind of bored today. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to my world. Trust me, I feel you. I can golf 7 days in a row. The second I can't golf, I'm like, what's everyone doing? Like, when you asked about this podcast, I'm like, well, I mean, I'm just sitting here. Yeah. Should probably be able to do it.
Make it work.
Yeah. So, no, it's good, though. Just tons of family time. Like I said, they're cleaning up their place. So,
Good.
It's all good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael's leaving.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it was a pleasure. This has been a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
How
do we didn't quite do a half bottle, but we tried.
We can top her off real quick.
A little top off.
Yeah.
A little goodbye.
Yeah, a little goodbye.
Okay.
And then again, like I said, if there's anything you want to do, like socials, I mean, anybody you want to shout out, this is definitely the time to do it. While I give you a little more whiskey.
Pour me up here. Let's see. I'm good on the socials, but just as always, thanks to the local community for supporting anything that we all do, and, you know, friends and family, and this whiskey, everything. I'm gonna go golf at Sunridge. Thirsty Thursdays if anyone needs it. No, but I just enjoy doing this stuff. Like I said, it's fun. I always kind of come up with a new story that, you know, like you guys help me get out of myself. Because like I said, you and me in the garage, I'm not going to talk about it. But it's like, it's fun if I can kind of get to explain a little bit of the stuff I did. And yeah, that's about all I got for you.
Good.
Yeah.
And I'm Joel Potter, and this is the Bourbon and Ballistics podcast. You can find us on all the socials at Bourbon and Ballistics. That's going to be Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that. I would love your feedback. Like button, comments, tell us how we can do better. And thanks for tuning in.
Notice
Michael,
how I said, say how we can do better. Don't say how much bad we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also,
no negatives.
Yeah, no negatives. What would you like to see? That would be great. Michael, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
I cross state lines with hillbillies and guns. It's been a hell of a ride and a whole lot of fun. They gave me many names down there in Dixie, but the man